Good afternoon, everybody. Greg McDaniel with the McDaniel Callahan Real Estate Team with J. Rockcliffe Realtors. I am here with James Callejas, right? Callejas?
Callejas.
Callejas. I got it right. He is with IPX. He specializes in 1031 exchanges, and that's our topic of today's segment, is a 1031 exchange. For the majority of folks out there, you guys probably understand a little bit about what this whole thing does. It saves you money somehow, some way on some sort of property. Well, today James is going to walk us through a series of different questions so that by the time we're done, you're going to have a much better understanding of exactly how you can utilize this to save you, your family, and your descendants a significant amount of money when you invest in real estate. So, James, what is a 1031 exchange?
There's a couple of different types of 1031 exchanges, Greg, but the most common 1031 exchange that the average Joe out there is going to see is where they bought a piece of investment property. And they wouldn't buy it today. They bought it, let's say, 5 to 10 years ago, at least some point in the past. And some people have owned these properties for decades. And they've appreciated in value. They've depreciated the property over the years. They've collected income, or they've used it for a variety of reasons as a business or investment purpose. Now, for a number of different reasons, they're looking to sell this property. Mm-hmm. If they were just to sell the property, take the money, they're going to be a taxpayer. They're going to pay 15% to the federal government. In the state of California, another 9.55. All the depreciation they've taken, another 25% to the feds, and another 9.55% to the state.
That sounds horrible.
It is horrible.
That sounds absolutely horrible. How much money you're going to push out off of what you've rightfully earned, right?
It makes no sense to sell a piece of investment property and not do a 1031 exchange if you are looking to purchase other property. So a 1031 exchange is where you bought the property a while ago. Now you're looking to sell it. You don't want to take the money because you're going to pay tax.
Right.
You want to reinvest it in another piece of real estate that's used for a business or investment purpose. Real property for real property, used as a business or investment purpose. As long as you use all of the proceeds and buy of equal or greater value, there will be no taxable consequence.
So by equal or greater value, so if we have $1 million property, I can go equal or greater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great, so I can go to $2 million very easily, using the $1 million proceeds to buy up to the $2 million range, correct?
Yeah, you can leverage out the property to a different type of property that you may want.
So I can do it with my own house, I can buy my own house with a 1031 exchange?
There are rules, Greg. Remember, it has to be investment property, and although most individuals think that the purchase of their primary residence was the biggest investment of their life, it's not a investment property. Primary residence has its own section code. For the investment property, you want to do a 1031 exchange when you want to preserve all your equity and buy something. You don't have to buy of equal or greater value, but if you don't, you're going to pay tax on everything that you didn't meet. So if you bought it for 100, you sold it for $1 million, you buy something for 900, you're going to pay tax on that $100,000 that you did not meet.
The paying the taxes is not ever going to be a fun thing to do. I don't care who you are, but is doing a 1031 expensive? I mean, is it going to cost more to do the 1031 than to pay the taxes? Is it complicated? I mean, this is your absolute field. I know that you do this every day, but for everyone else in the world, what's the cost?
The cost is a little bit less than $1,000 to get a 1031 exchange done. And it's ridiculous when you start looking at the cost of a 1031 exchange in comparison to how much they pay in capital gains tax.
$1,000.
Given the number of properties in the exchange, it could go more, but you're not even at a fraction of what you'd save in terms of equity when you do a 1031 exchange. Anybody that's selling investment property and looking to buy investment property and doesn't utilize this section code has not chosen the right direction.
So what you're saying to me here is either you can pay an exorbitant amount of taxes from every single person out there reaching in to take a piece of what you've rightly earned and what you purchased a long time ago and had the foresight to buy, or you can spend roughly a little under $1,000, come to James at IPX, and go through a 1031 exchange, obviously using the McDaniel Callahan Real Estate Team to do the sale, naturally. And then there has to be rules. So just in about 1 minute, give me a brief rundown of what the rules are for doing these types of exchanges.
Here's how it works. Prior to the close of escrow of any property in the exchange, you have to set up the 1031 exchange. So you have to get in contact with myself so I can put together the appropriate paperwork. Once escrow closes on your sale property, you have 45 calendar days, not business days, and that includes holidays.
If it's a day that ends in Y,
if it's
it counts.
a Super Bowl, it counts. It doesn't matter. 45 calendar days to identify replacement property, and the next 135 days after day 45 for a total of 180 from the close of escrow.
I was just going to ask that.
To close on what you identified. There's certain rules with identifying a number of different properties. You have to adhere to the rules.
Guys, this is a complicated scenario doing a 1031 exchange. I cannot tell you with strong enough language this is the right vehicle if you own one or multiple investment properties to protect the equity that you've made in that property. You know, James, give them your number so they can call you with any additional questions, please.
415-640-0794.
And of course, you can reach me, Greg McDaniel of the McDaniel Callahan Real Estate Team at 925-838-4300. And I just want to thank you, James. I appreciate your time, and I thank you as the viewers. We'll see you on the next episode.